General Vex stood on the bridge of his warship, staring at the data screen with growing confusion. His 3 eyes blinked slowly as he read the report again. The numbers could not be right. Nothing could survive on Kepler-4 for to be? Nothing. Scout Leader Crix, run the scan again, Vex ordered. His voice carried the authority of someone who had conquered 12 star systems for the Galactic Coalition. Crix, a tall, insect-like creature with silver skin, tapped his claws on the control panel. Sir, I have run the scan 5 times. The results are the same? Vex looked at the planet below. Kepler 442b was a nightmare world.
Oh.
The gravity was 3 times stronger than most inhabited planets. Storms of poisonous methane gas swept across the surface every few hours. The temperature was so cold that most known species would freeze solid in minutes. The Coalition had marked this world as Death Class years ago, yet the scans showed something impossible. There were cities on the surface. Big cities. The heat signatures suggested over 50,000 life forms living and working down there. Could it be the Zephyrians? Max asked. The Zephyrians were tough, but even they needed special suits to survive in harsh conditions. No, sir, Crix replied. The energy signatures are wrong. These are human settlements. Vex felt a chill run down his spine. Humans were the newest species to join the galactic community. They had only recently developed faster-than-light travel. Their homeworld, Earth, was considered pleasant but unremarkable. How could they survive on a world that would kill a Zephyrian warrior in minutes? Show me the surface activity, Vex commanded. The main screen flickered and showed a live view of the planet's surface. What Vex saw made his blood run cold. Human figures were moving around outside their buildings. They wore suits, but they moved easily in the crushing gravity. Where some were operating heavy machinery. Others were loading cargo onto transport vehicles. Then Vex saw something that made him question his own eyes. A group of small humans, children, were playing some kind of game in an open area. They were running and jumping in gravity that should have crushed their bones. They looked happy. This is impossible, Vex whispered. Sir Crix said, his voice shaking. There is more. The humans have built what appears to be a sports complex. They are playing competitive games in conditions that would kill most Coalition species. Vex watched as adult humans engaged in what looked like a ball game. They were moving with speed and agility that seemed impossible in such heavy gravity. When one player fell, he simply got up and continued playing. No injuries, no sign of distress. Get me a full analysis of their technology, Vex ordered. Their suits must be incredibly advanced. Sir, we have been monitoring their communications, Crix said. The humans are not just surviving, they are thriving. Their leader, someone called. Dr. Park Hyun has been sending reports to Earth about their success. Vex studied the data streaming across his screens. The humans had built mining operations that pulled valuable metals from the planet's core. They had farms, actual farms, growing food in conditions that should kill any plant life. They had even built schools and hospitals. Show me their defensive systems, Vex demanded. Crix brought up another display. That is the strange part, sir. They have very few weapons. Their defenses seem to rely on the planet itself. Vex studied the defensive layout. Humans had built their cities in the most dangerous areas of the planet. Their main settlement was right in the path of the methane storms. Their mining operations were located where the gravity was strongest. It was as if they had chosen the most deadly locations on purpose. Are they insane? Vex asked. We do not think so, sir. Watch this. Crix showed a recording from earlier that day. A massive methane storm was approaching the main human city. Instead of seeking shelter, the humans seemed to welcome it. They opened large panels on their buildings and began collecting the poisonous gas. They are using the storm as a fuel source, Crix explained. The methane powers their entire city. Vex felt his confidence shaking. The Coalition had spent thousands of years avoiding worlds like this. They had built their empire by conquering safe, comfortable planets. They had never imagined that anyone would choose to live in such horrible conditions. Get me Admiral Kex immediately, Vex ordered. Priority 1 communication. While he waited for the connection, Vex continued to study the human settlement. The more he learned, the more frightened he became. These humans were not just surviving by accident. They had planned this. They had studied the planet's dangers and turned them into advantages. The communication system chimed. Admiral Kex's face appeared on the screen. The Admiral was a massive creature with thick blue skin and 4 arms. He had led the Coalition military for over 50 years. General Vex, what requires such urgent communication? Admiral Kex asked. Sir, we have a problem. The humans have colonized Kepler-4 for 2b. Admiral Kex was quiet for a long moment. That is impossible. Nothing can survive on that world. Sir, they have over 50,000 colonists there. They are not just surviving. They are building a major industrial center. You must be mistaken, Admiral Kex said. Check your equipment. Run diagnostics on all sensors. Sir, I have run every test possible. The readings are accurate. The humans are thriving in conditions that would kill any Coalition species within minutes. Admiral Kex studied the data that Vex transmitted. His forearms moved nervously as he read the reports. This changes everything, he said finally. If humans can survive on Death-class worlds, they could potentially colonize thousands of planets that we cannot even approach. Sir, what are your orders? Vex asked. I want confirmation from 3 independent sources. Send scout ships from different fleets. Use different technology. I want to be absolutely certain before we report this to the Coalition Council. And if the reports are confirmed? Vex asked. Admiral Kex was quiet for a long time. Then we may have seriously underestimated humanity. A species that can turn Death-class worlds into thriving colonies is not a species we can ignore. The communication ended, leaving Vex alone with his fears. He looked down at the planet again. Humans were still playing their games, still working their minds, still living their lives in conditions that should have killed them all. For the first time in his military career, General Vex felt truly afraid. 3 days later, Admiral Kex sat in his command center, surrounded by reports from 3 different fleets. Each report told the same impossible story. The humans were not just on Kepler-4 4b, they were everywhere. Sir, Commander Vex said, his voice shaking, the Zephyrian scouts have confirmed human presence on Proxima Centauri b. Admiral Kex felt his foreheart skip a beat. Proxima Centauri b was a tidally locked world. One side faced the star forever, burning at temperatures that could melt most metals. The other side faced away from the star, frozen in eternal darkness so cold that even the air turned solid. That is impossible, Admiral Kex said. Nothing can survive on both sides of that world. Sir, the humans have built cities on both sides. They have also built massive structures that span the day and night sides. Admiral Kex stared at the data. The human settlement was enormous. Over 200,000 humans lived and worked in conditions that should have killed them instantly. The hot side reached temperatures of 800 degrees. The cold side dropped to minus 200 degrees. Yet the humans had somehow made both sides livable. Show me the structure that spans both sides, Admiral Kex ordered. The main screen displayed an image that made Admiral Kex's blood freeze. The humans had built a massive bridge that stretched across the border between the hot and cold sides. The bridge was over 50 kilometers long and seemed to be made of materials that could withstand extreme heat on one end and extreme cold on the other. How is this possible? Admiral Kex asked. Sir, we believe the humans are using the temperature difference to generate power. The bridge appears to be a giant energy collection system. Admiral Kex watched as human transport vehicles moved along the bridge. They traveled from the burning hot side to the freezing cold side without stopping. The vehicles looked normal, not like the heavy-duty equipment that Coalition species would need for such extreme conditions. Get me Lieutenant Commander Li Sujin, Admiral Kex ordered. I want to speak with their leader. Sir, we have been monitoring their communications. Li Sujin is not just surviving. She is running a major trade hub. Ships from Earth visit regularly to pick up rare materials that can only be found in such extreme conditions. Admiral Kex felt sick. The humans were not just surviving on impossible worlds. They were using these worlds to build wealth and power. What else have our scouts found? Admiral Kex asked. though he dreaded the answer. Commander Thex activated. Another display. The Karathi fleet has found humans on Gliese 667cc. Admiral Kex's face turned pale. Gliese 667cc was a water world completely covered by oceans over 10 kilometers deep. The water pressure at the bottom would crush any known spacecraft like an empty can. The sea creatures there were massive predators that the Coalition had classified as extremely dangerous. "Tell me they are living on floating cities," Admiral Keck said hopefully. "No, sir. They are living underwater. Deep underwater. Our scans show. Human cities on the ocean floor." The display showed something that made Admiral Kex question his own sanity. Human cities sat on the ocean floor under crushing pressure that should have killed anything living. The cities were not small survival shelters, or massive, beautiful structures with thousands of inhabitants. "How deep are these cities?" Admiral Kex asked. "Over 8 kilometers down, sir. The pressure there is over 800 times normal atmospheric pressure." Admiral Kex watched human figures moving around the underwater cities. They wore suits, but they moved easily and confidently. Some were riding on large sea creatures that looked like the same predators the Coalition had marked as deadly. "Have tamed the sea monsters," Commander Thex said. "The humans are using them as transportation and work animals." "Who is leading this underwater colony?" Admiral Kex asked. "Marine biologist Kim Tae-ho, sir. He has been sending reports to Earth about their success in deep-sea mining and farming." Admiral Kex studied the images of the underwater cities. Humans had built beautiful structures that seemed to grow from the ocean floor itself. Gardens of sea plants surrounded the buildings. Schools of fish swam between the structures as if they belonged there. "They are not just surviving," Admiral Kex said. "They are making these worlds better than they found them." "Sir, there is more," Commander Thex said. Intelligence Chief Knox has completed his analysis. He believes the humans have colonized at least 40 Death-class worlds. Admiral Kex felt his legs go weak. He sat down heavily in his command chair. 40 worlds? Yes, sir. All worlds that we marked as impossible to colonize. Worlds with crushing gravity, poisonous atmospheres, extreme temperatures, deadly radiation, and worse. Admiral Kex called up a galactic map. Red dots marked every world that the Coalition had classified as Death Class. Over the past few months, many of these red dots had turned green, indicating human presence. "They are doing the impossible," Admiral Kex said. "They are turning our worst nightmares into their greatest strengths." "Sir, what does this mean for our expansion plans?" Commander Thex asked. Admiral Kex had been planning to conquer human space for years. The Coalition had assumed that humans were weak because they came from a comfortable world. They had planned to take over Earth and its few colonies easily. Now Admiral Kex realized the truth. The humans were not weak. Were the strongest species in the galaxy. They could live anywhere, survive anything, and thrive in conditions that would destroy the Coalition's best warriors. "Cancel all invasion plans," Admiral Kex ordered. "We need to completely rethink our strategy." "Sir, surely we can still defeat them through superior numbers and technology," Commander Thex said. Admiral Kex shook his head. "How do you invade a world you cannot even approach? How do you fight an enemy that uses the planet itself as a weapon?" Command Center fell silent. Every officer present began to understand the horrible truth. The Coalition had built their empire by conquering safe, comfortable worlds. They had never learned to fight in truly dangerous conditions. The humans had learned to thrive in the most dangerous places in the galaxy. Every Death-class world was now a potential fortress that no Coalition force could assault. "Get me the Coalition Council," Admiral Kex ordered. "We need to discuss this threat immediately." "Sir, should we classify this as a military emergency?" Commander Thex asked. Admiral Kex looked at the map again. 40 human colonies on 40 impossible worlds, each one growing stronger every day. Each one proving that humans could survive anything the galaxy could throw at them. "No," Admiral Kex said. "Classify this as an existential threat to our entire civilization." The room went completely silent. For the first time in Coalition history, they faced an enemy they truly feared. Dr. Kill, the Coalition's most brilliant scientist, stood in her laboratory staring at test results that made no sense. Her 6 tentacles moved nervously as she read the data for the 100th time. The samples from human colonies should not exist. Assistant Vryn, run the analysis again, Dr. Kill ordered. Her voice carried the frustration of someone who had spent her entire career believing in the laws of physics. Varan, a small creature with crystal-like skin, tapped his claws on the control panel. Doctor, I have run the test 20 times. The results are always the same. The metal samples from HD 40,307 grams are impossible. Dr. Kill looked at the metal piece on her examination table. It had come from a human mining operation on HD 40,037G, a planet where the gravity was 5 times normal and the atmosphere was pure sulfur dioxide. The air itself would burn the lungs of any coalition species in seconds. Yet humans lived there. They worked there. They mined there. The metal should not exist, Dr. Kill said. Sulfur dioxide at this concentration should destroy any known alloy within hours. Doctor, the humans have somehow created metals that become stronger when exposed to sulfur dioxide. Our tests show that this alloy is 3 times harder than our best military armor. Dr. Kill felt her worldview cracking. She had studied metallurgy for over 200 years. She knew every possible combination of elements. She knew what could and could not exist. Yet here was proof that humans had created something that her science said was impossible. Show me the live feed from HD 40,307 grams, Dr. Kill ordered. The laboratories. Main screen showed the surface of the deadly planet. Human workers moved around in the poisonous atmosphere, operating massive mining equipment. They wore suits, but the suits looked surprisingly light and simple. How are their suits not dissolving? Dr. Kill asked. Doctor, we believe they are. Using the sulfur dioxide atmosphere as part of their protection system. Instead of fighting against the environment, they are working with it. Dr. Kill watched as Captain Jang Minho directed his mining crews. The human leader moved with confidence in gravity that should have crushed his bones. His workers operated equipment that should have failed within minutes of exposure to the corrosive atmosphere. Get me the reports from Kepler 10b, Dr. Kill ordered. Another screen showed an even more impossible sight. Kepler 10b was so close to its star that the surface temperature reached 1,800 degrees Celsius. The planet's surface was mostly molten rock. Nothing could survive there, nothing yet. Humans were there too. Dr. Engineer O'Dayun has built a complete industrial complex on Kepler 10b. They are harvesting the molten surface for rare elements. Dr. Kill stared at the images. Human workers were moving around on the surface of a world that was literally on fire. Their facilities looked like they were built from materials that actually needed the extreme heat to function properly. How is this possible? Dr. Kill asked. At 1,800 degrees, even our best heat-resistant materials would melt. Doctor, we believe the humans have learned to use the planet's heat as an energy source. Our facilities are not just surviving the heat, they are powered by it. Dr. Kill watched as human transport vehicles moved across the molten surface. They looked like they were designed specifically for this impossible environment. Steam rose from their cooling systems, but they moved smoothly and efficiently. Show me their biological scans, Dr. Kill ordered. The laboratory's computers displayed medical data that made Dr. Kill's tentacles curl with fear. Human biology was wrong. Cute. Everything about them was wrong. Doctor, human bone density is variable. It changes based on their environment. The humans on high-gravity worlds have developed bones that are 3 times denser than normal human bones. That should take millions of years of evolution, Dr. Kill said. Doctor, it appears to happen. Within a single generation, human children born on high-gravity worlds develop the necessary adaptations automatically. Dr. Kill studied the data. Human children on HD 40,307 grams were born with lungs that could process trace amounts of sulfur dioxide. Humans on Kepler 10b had developed skin that could reflect extreme heat. Humans on the water world had developed the ability to hold their breath for over an hour. They are adapting in real time, Dr. Kill said. This is impossible. Doctor, there is more. Human technology also adapts. Their equipment seems to improve itself based on local conditions. Dr. Kill looked at scans of human equipment from different worlds. Each piece of technology was slightly different, modified to work perfectly in its specific environment. The modifications looked like they had been designed by experts who had studied each world for centuries. How long have they been on these worlds? Dr. Kill asked.
Doctor.
The oldest human colony on a death-class world is only 3 years old. Dr. Kill felt faint. 3 years. The humans had learned to thrive in impossible conditions in just 3 years. The Coalition had spent thousands of years avoiding these worlds, convinced they were uninhabitable. Give me Admiral Kex, Dr. Kill ordered. He needs to see this. While she waited for the connection, Dr. Kill continued studying the human data. Every piece of information made the situation worse. The humans were not just surviving on death-class worlds. They were turning these worlds into the most productive colonies in human space. The communication system activated. Admiral Kex is worried. Face appeared on the screen. Dr. Kill, what have you discovered? Admiral Kex asked. Admiral, the humans are not just living on impossible worlds. They are evolving to thrive on them. Their biology and technology adapt to any environment within years, not millennia. What does this mean for our military planning? Admiral Kex asked. Dr. Kill looked at her data again. Admiral, it means that every death-class world in the galaxy is a potential human colony. There may be nowhere in the universe that humans cannot live. Admiral Kex was quiet for a long moment. You're saying they could colonize every world in the galaxy? Admiral, I am saying they could colonize worlds that we did not even know existed. Worlds inside stars. Worlds in the vacuum of space. Worlds that exist in dimensions we cannot even visit. That cannot be possible, Admiral Kex said. Admiral, 6 months ago I would have agreed with you. Now I am not sure what is possible anymore. Dr. Kill transmitted her complete analysis to Admiral Kex. She watched his face change as he read the data. His expression went from disbelief to horror to something that looked like despair. Doctor, in your professional opinion, is there any environment in the universe where humans cannot survive? Dr. Kill looked at all her data one more time. The evidence was clear. Humans could adapt to anything. They could survive anywhere. They could thrive in conditions that would destroy any other known species. No, Admiral. I do not believe there is. The communication ended, leaving Dr. Kill alone with her impossible discoveries. For the first time in her long career, she wondered if the Coalition had met their match. Admiral Kex sat at the head of the Coalition's War Council table, surrounded by the most experienced military commanders in the galaxy. Maps of human space covered every wall. Red warning lights blinked everywhere, showing human colonies on worlds. That should have been empty, gentlemen, Admiral Kex began. We have a problem that threatens our entire civilization. General Vex leaned forward. Admiral, surely our superior numbers can overcome human advantages? We have over 500 battle fleets. General, how many of those fleets can operate on worlds with 5 times normal gravity? Admiral Kex asked. The room fell silent. Every commander knew the answer. None of their fleets could function in such conditions, Admiral Commander Vex said. Our intelligence suggests the humans have weaponized the environments of their worlds. They are not just living on death-class planets, they are turning them into fortress worlds. Admiral Kex activated the main display. It showed Wolf 1061c, a world constantly shaken by massive volcanic eruptions and deadly radiation storms. The planet's surface was a nightmare of lava flows and toxic clouds. This is where Colonel Cho Yun-bai has established human defense systems, Admiral Kex said. Show them what our scouts discovered. The display changed to show the planet's surface. Human structures were built right into the sides of active volcanoes. Instead of hiding from the eruptions, the humans seemed to be using them as part of their defensive strategy. How is this possible? General Vex asked. The humans have turned the volcanic eruptions into a weapon system, Admiral Kex explained. When enemy ships approach, they trigger controlled eruptions that launch molten rock into orbit. The display showed a test recording. A Coalition probe had approached the planet to gather information. Suddenly, 3 volcanoes erupted at the same time. Streams of lava shot into space like guided missiles. The probe was destroyed instantly. They are using the planet itself as artillery, Admiral Keck said. General Vex studied the images. Surely, we can find a way to counter this. We have the best military technology in the galaxy. General, watch this, Admiral Keck said. The display showed another part of Wolf 1061C. A massive radiation storm was sweeping across the surface. The radiation was so intense that it would kill any coalition soldier within seconds. Yet the humans were not hiding from it. They are using the radiation storms as shield generators, Admiral Keck explained. The radiation is so intense that our sensors cannot see through it. Our weapons cannot penetrate it. Our ships cannot survive in it. Commander Vex looks sick. Admiral, are you saying we cannot even approach this world? That is exactly what I am saying. Any coalition ship that gets close to Wolf 1061C will be destroyed by the planet's natural defenses that the humans have learned to control. The War Council members looked at each other with growing fear. They had spent their careers conquering worlds by overwhelming them with superior firepower. Now they faced worlds that were themselves weapons. What about their other colonies? General Vex asked. Admiral Kex changed the display to show another human world. This one was even more impossible. Human research station existed inside the corona of a red dwarf star, where temperatures reached millions of degrees. This is where Dr. Yoon Sung-woo has built a research facility, Admiral Kex said. He is studying stellar physics from inside the star itself. The image showed human structures that seemed to be made of pure energy. They moved through the star's corona like fish swimming through water. The humans inside were conducting experiments that should have been impossible. How are they not being burned alive? General Vex asked. We believe they have learned to use the star's energy as protection, Admiral Kex said. Instead of being destroyed by the heat, they are powered by it. The display showed human ships moving in and out of the star's corona. They looked like they were designed specifically for this impossible environment. Their hull plating seemed to glow with the same energy as the star itself. Admiral, what weapons have they developed? Commander Vex asked. That is the most frightening part, Admiral Keck said. Their defensive technologies are beyond our understanding. They can create shields that turn stellar radiation into power. They can build armor that becomes stronger when exposed to impossible conditions. Admiral Keck showed data from Dr. Kill's analysis. Human technology was not just advanced, it was adaptive. Their equipment improved itself based on local conditions. A human shield generator that worked in normal space would become 10 times more powerful when exposed to stellar radiation. They are not just surviving in impossible conditions, Admiral Keck said. They are using those conditions to become stronger than we ever imagined possible. General Vex stood up angrily. Admiral, we are the Coalition. We have conquered hundreds of worlds, cannot be defeated by a species that has barely learned to travel between stars. General, sit down and listen, Admiral Keck said firmly. We have been planning to invade human space for months. We assumed they were weak because they came from a comfortable world. We were wrong. Admiral Kex activated a tactical display showing the planned invasion routes. Every route passed through or near human colonies on Death-class worlds. Look at our invasion plan, Admiral Kex said. Fleet Group Alpha was supposed to attack through the Kepler system. The route now passes within weapons range of 3 human fortress worlds. Fleet Group Beta was going to use the Proxima system as a staging area. The humans have turned that entire system into a defensive network. The commanders studied the tactical display. Every invasion route was now blocked by human colonies that they could not approach, let alone attack. Admiral, surely we can find alternate routes, General Vex said. General, there are no alternate routes. The humans have colonized every Death-class world between Coalition space and Earth. They have created a defensive barrier that we cannot penetrate. The room fell completely silent. The Coalition's greatest military minds were looking at their first impossible tactical situation. They could not fight an enemy they could not reach. What are our options? Commander Vex asked. Admiral. Kex looked around the table at his commanders. These were warriors who had never known defeat. Now they faced an enemy that had turned the galaxy's most dangerous environments into impregnable fortresses. We have two choices, Admiral Keck said. We can try to attack and watch our fleets be destroyed by planets themselves, or we can admit that we have met our match. General Vex slammed his fist on the table. The coalition does not surrender. General, this is not surrender. This is survival. We are facing a species that can thrive anywhere in the universe. They can turn any world into a fortress. They can adapt to any weapon we use against them. Admiral Keck stood up slowly. For the first time in coalition history, we must consider that we are not the strongest force in the galaxy. The War Council ended in shocked silence. The coalition's military leadership had to accept a new reality. They were no longer the predators. They had become the prey. The coalition council chamber had never been so tense. Representatives from 50 different species sat in worried silence as Admiral Keck finished his report. The news about human fortress worlds had shaken the entire galactic government. Counselor Zeth, an ancient being with wise golden eyes, spoke first. Admiral, are you suggesting we abandon our expansion plans entirely? Counselor, I am suggesting that expansion into human space is impossible with our current capabilities, Admiral Keck replied. General Vex stood up angrily. Counselors, we cannot show weakness. If we do not act against the humans now, they will spread across the entire galaxy. And what do you propose, General? Counselor Zeth asked. A full military assault on their weakest colony? We must prove that humans can be defeated. Admiral Keck shook his head. General, there are no weak human colonies. If every world they inhabit is a fortress that we cannot approach, then we will make them approach us, General Vex declared. I will personally lead an attack on Kepler-4 for it to be. We will force them to fight, in conditions we can survive. The council chamber erupted in worried voices. Some counselors supported the attack, believing the coalition must show strength. Others argued for diplomatic contact, fearing that war would destroy them all. Enough, Counselor Zeth commanded. General Vex, you have permission to attempt your assault. Yes. But you will use only volunteer crews who understand the risks. 3 days later, General Vex's massive fleet approached Kepler-4 for 2B. 50 of the coalition's most advanced warships moved toward the human colony. Vex had chosen this world because it was one of the smaller human settlements. All ships maintain formation. Vex ordered from his flagship bridge, "We will demonstrate coalition superiority." The fleet reached the planet's outer atmosphere. Immediately, Vex's sensors began showing impossible readings. The methane storms that should have been random weather patterns were moving in organized formations. Sir Scout Leader Crix reported, "The storms appear to be following our ships." "That is impossible," Vex said. "Storms cannot be controlled." On the planet's surface, Station Commander Park Ji-hoon watched the approaching fleet from deep inside the planet's crust. Its command center was built into solid rock. It's protected by crushing gravity and toxic atmosphere that would kill any coalition soldier instantly. "All defensive systems online," Park Ji-hoon ordered. "Show our visitors what humans can do." The first methane storm struck Vex's lead ship without warning. Poisonous gas ate through the ship's hull like acid. Within minutes, the proud warship was drifting helplessly, its crew evacuated to other vessels. How did they weaponize a storm? "Sir, the humans appear to have built control systems throughout the planet's atmosphere," Crix replied. "They are directing the storms like guided missiles." 2 more coalition ships were hit by precisely aimed storms. Their hulls began dissolving. As the methane gas found every weakness in their armor, the crews had to abandon ship or die. "All ships, increase altitude," Vex ordered. "Get above the storm systems." But as the fleet climbed higher, new dangers appeared. The planet's crushing gravity began affecting their engines. Ships that could easily maneuver in normal space became sluggish and hard to control. "Sir, we are losing engine efficiency," the chief engineer reported. "The gravity is 3 times stronger than our ships were designed to handle." "Compensate with backup systems," Vex ordered. "Sir, the backup systems are also failing. Our ships cannot function properly in this gravity." On the surface, Dr. Lim Hai-jin activated her next set of defensive weapons. She was a weapons specialist. who had spent 2 years learning to use the planet's environment as ammunition. Gravity wave generators online, Dr. Lim announced. Target the largest ships first. Suddenly, Vex's flagship shuddered as an invisible force grabbed it. The gravity around his ship had somehow become 10 times stronger than the planet's normal crushing pull. "What is happening?" Vex shouted, as his crew was pressed against the floor by impossible weight. "Sir, they are manipulating gravity itself," Crix gasped. Struggling to operate his controls under the crushing force, 3 coalition ships were caught in gravity. Wells so strong that their hulls began cracking under the pressure. The metal groaned and bent as forces beyond imagination squeezed the vessels like empty cans. "All ships retreat," Vex ordered. "Full power to engines." But retreating was impossible. Every time a coalition ship tried to leave, it was caught by another gravity well, or hit by another weaponized storm. The humans were using the planet's own hostile environment as a perfect defense system. "Sir, we have lost 15 ships," Crix reported. "The remaining vessels are too damaged to continue fighting." Vex watched in horror as human defenders emerged from underground bunkers. They moved easily in the crushing gravity, wearing suits that looked surprisingly light. Some were even running across the surface, chasing damaged coalition escape pods. "How can they move so easily?" Vex asked. "Sir, I believe the humans have adapted their bodies to this environment. The gravity that is crushing us is normal for them." A human recovery team reached a crashed coalition escape pod. Instead of attacking the survivors, they began rescue operations. The humans were saving coalition soldiers from the poisonous atmosphere that would have killed them in minutes. "Sir," Crix said in amazement, "the humans are rescuing our people." Station Commander Park Ji-hoon's voice came over the communication system. "Coalition fleet, this is Park Ji-hoon. We have your wounded soldiers in our medical facilities. They will be returned to you safely when you withdraw from our space." General Vex stared at the communication panel. The humans had defeated his fleet completely, yet they were saving coalition lives. It was not the behavior of a savage enemy species. "Commander Park," Vex replied, "we surrender. Please allow us to retrieve our people and withdraw." "General Vex, your people are welcome to recover in our hospitals. Our doctors have experience treating non-human patients. We will provide safe transport back to your ships when they are ready." The battle was over. General Vex's proud fleet limped away from Kepler 4-4 to be with only 35 ships remaining. 15 vessels had been destroyed or captured by a planet that fought back. Within hours, news of the defeat spread throughout coalition space. For the first time in their history, the coalition military had been completely beaten. Not by superior technology or overwhelming numbers, but by humans who had turned an impossible world into the perfect fortress. Admiral Kex received General Vex's report in stunned silence. The coalition's best military commander had been defeated by planetary defenses that should not exist. Admiral General Vex said over the communication link, "The humans are not our enemies. They are something far more dangerous. They are everything we could never become." The coalition leadership realized they faced a choice. They could continue fighting an impossible war against an enemy that could not be defeated, or they could try to understand what humans really were. For the first time in coalition history, they chose understanding over conquest. 2 weeks after the disaster at Kepler 4-4b, the coalition council chamber was filled with worried voices. News of General Vex's defeat had spread panic throughout coalition space. For the first time in galactic history, the mighty coalition military had been completely beaten. "Order, order," Counselor Zeth commanded, striking his ceremonial staff against the floor. "We must discuss our response to the human situation." "Response?" General Vex said bitterly from his seat. "What response can we have? They turned an entire planet into a weapon. Our best fleet was destroyed by storms and gravity." Admiral Keck stood to address the council. "Counselors, we must face the truth. We cannot defeat humans through military force. They have mastered environments that we cannot even survive in." "Then what do you suggest?" Counselor Zeth asked. "Diplomatic contact," Admiral Kex replied. We must try to understand what we are dealing with. The council chamber erupted in shocked voices. The coalition had never negotiated with the species. From a position of weakness, they had always been the conquerors, never the conquered. Diplomacy? General Vex laughed bitterly. What can we possibly offer to beings who can live anywhere in the universe? Before anyone could answer, an alarm sounded throughout the council chamber. Emergency lights began flashing as the station's defense systems activated. Counselors, the security chief announced, we have an unknown ship approaching the station. It is not responding to our communications. What type of ship? Counselor Zeth asked. Sir, we have never seen anything like it. The ship appears to be passing through our defensive radiation fields without any protection. On the main display, the council watched as a sleek human vessel approached their space station. The ship moved through radiation that would kill any coalition crew in seconds. It passed through energy barriers that should have destroyed any known technology. How is it surviving our defensive systems? Admiral Kex asked. Sir, the ship appears to be using our radiation as a power source. Instead of being destroyed by our defenses, it is being strengthened by them. The human ship docked with the coalition station as if the deadly radiation fields were not even there. A few minutes later, the airlock opened and a single human figure stepped out. Ambassador Han Ruan walked calmly through the station's corridors. She wore a simple diplomatic suit that somehow protected her from radiation that would kill. Coalition soldiers even inside their protective armor. Counselors. The security chief announced, the human ambassador is requesting permission to address the council. Counselor Zeth looked around the chamber. Every representative was staring at the display showing the human ship. A vessel that could ignore their strongest defenses had just delivered a single diplomat to their most secure station. Send her in, Counselor Zeth said quietly. Ambassador Han Ruan entered the council chamber with calm confidence. She walked to the center of the room and looked around at the 50 different alien species that made up the coalition government. Honorable counselors, Ambassador Han said. I am Han Ruan, representing the United Earth government. I come in peace to discuss our mutual future. Your ship, Admiral Kex said. How did it survive our defensive systems? Ambassador Han smiled gently. Admiral, your defensive systems are designed to stop normal ships. Human technology adapts to any environment. Your radiation field simply became another energy source for our engines. The council chamber fell silent. Human had just confirmed their worst fears. Human technology could adapt to anything, even weapons designed to destroy it. What do you want from us? Counselor Zeth asked. We want peace, Ambassador Han replied. Humans have no desire to conquer coalition worlds. We are happy living on worlds that you cannot use. But you could take our worlds if you wanted to. General Vex said angrily. Ambassador Han looked at the defeated general with sympathy. General, why would we want your comfortable worlds when we can thrive on worlds you consider impossible? We prefer challenges. Dr. Kong Subin, Earth's lead xenobiologist, joined the ambassador via holographic communication. Her image appeared. Next to Ambassador Han, transmitted from a research station inside a neutron star's magnetic field. Counselors, Dr. Kang said, let me explain what makes humans different. We did not evolve to conquer other species. We evolved to survive anywhere. The display showed images of early human history. Humans living in frozen wastelands, burning deserts, crushing ocean depths, and thin mountain air. Every environment on Earth had been colonized by humans long before they reached space. Other species evolved to fit specific environments, Dr. Kong continued. Humans evolved to adapt to any environment. It is not superior technology that allows us to live on death-class worlds. It is our biology. But your technology adapts to, Dr. Kill said, joining the conversation from her laboratory. Yes, Dr. King replied. Human technology reflects human biology. We build tools that can adapt and change just like we do. We do not fight against hostile environments. We learn to work with them. Ambassador Han activated a holographic display showing human colonies throughout the galaxy. Dozens of worlds that the Coalition had marked as uninhabitable were now thriving human settlements. "We have colonized these worlds not to threaten you, but because we enjoy the challenge," Ambassador Han said. "Every impossible world teaches us something new about survival." "What about military threats?" Admiral Kex asked. "Admiral, every human world is naturally defended by its environment. We do not need to build weapons when the planet itself protects us. Any species that can survive on our worlds is welcome to visit peacefully." Counselor Zeth stood slowly. "Ambassador Han, what do you propose for our future relationship?" "We propose a partnership," Ambassador Han replied. "Humans will continue colonizing worlds that you cannot use. In exchange, we will share our discoveries about survival and adaptation. We will also provide protection for Coalition worlds from any external threats." "Protection?" General Vex asked. "You would defend us?" "General, any species that threatens the Coalition would also threaten human colonies. We have a mutual interest in galactic peace." Dr. Kong's holographic image smiled. "Besides, protecting others is part of human nature. We rescue Coalition soldiers from hostile environments because it is the right thing to do." The council chamber was quiet as the representatives considered this new reality. The humans were offering partnership instead of conquest. They wanted cooperation instead of domination. "What guarantees do we have?" Counselor Zeth asked. Ambassador Han gestured toward the display showing her ship. "Counselor, if humans wanted to conquer Coalition space, we would have done so already. We have the ability to live anywhere and adapt to anything. But we choose peace." A young human girl appeared on another holographic display. She was playing in the sulfur storms of HD 40307G, laughing as she ran through conditions that would kill any Coalition child instantly. "This is our future," Ambassador Han said. "Human children playing in environments that you consider deadly. We are not your enemies, counselors. We are living proof that there is no environment in the universe too hostile for life to thrive." Counselor Zeth looked around the chamber at his fellow representatives. The choice was clear. They could continue to fear humans and live in constant terror of their abilities. Or they could accept humans as partners and learn from their incredible adaptability. "Dame, the Coalition accepts your proposal for partnership," Counselor Zeth announced. "May this be the beginning of a new era of cooperation between our peoples." Ambassador Han bowed respectfully. "Thank you, counselors. Humans look forward to exploring the galaxy together with our new allies." As the formal ceremonies began, Dr. Kong's image showed one final scene. Human and Coalition scientists working together in a research station that orbited between two black holes, studying phenomena that neither species could have approached. Alone, the age of human expansion had begun. The galaxy would never be the same.